So foreshortening is when things are coming towards the viewer, going away from the viewer, like in this Proudhon drawing, how the legs are coming towards the viewer. Here's a Rubens painting with a lot of foreshortening going on in it. Hey, look at this figure here with the legs coming right towards the viewer. It's something that always comes up in drawing. It's very useful, so let's dive into it. So let's talk about foreshortening. We always have foreshortening a little bit. The two big principles to remember are draw all the way around the form. So I think a cylinder is a good, easy shape. On a pretty bad day, like this leg here, pretty much like a cylinder coming towards me here. So I draw a cylinder and then kind of make it into the leg, and then paying attention to what line is in front of what line, right? So here, the legs are basically cylinders, even the rib cage, right? You can sort of flatten out a cylinder to make a rib cage, right? Her rib cage is a little foreshortened away. I have like a big sort of flattened cylinder, right? Coming towards me. So here on the leg, a lot of foreshortening. What's in front of what? And a big simple shape. So a big simple shape, again, like a cylinder. So a cylinder coming towards me like this, right? And then a cylinder going away, a longer one for the lower leg. And then I build the leg into that. This little line just means paying very close attention. When things change direction, you just want to make sure you're not looking at them like a pipe, right? If you have something that changes direction like that, if you draw someone's arm or leg like that, it looks very flat, right? Nothing's in front of anything. Here, where the forms change direction, I've been very careful to pay attention to what's in front of what. So right here, again, this T shape, like here, this line, the bicep in front of the rib cage here, super important. Here, the forearm a little bit in front of the bicep. Here, the bicep a little bit in front of the forearm. Here, right, lower leg in front of the upper leg. Even here, like this line for the leg in front of the abdomen here. Down here, there's a lot of tenon around the knee. So as the leg comes back in here, a little bit of tenon in front of that, and even back here at the ankle. Right, so those two principles. Cylinders are really good because on a pretty bad day, even the head, we can kind of make us out of a cylinder, right? A cylinder facing away, right? We can kind of build it out of that. So that's a good, simple shape you can draw out of your head. You can do a lot with. So the neck, certainly like a cylinder. The rib cage, definitely like a big flattened cylinder. All these things I'm taking to be sort of cylinders and then building into them. Here's a time-lapse example of building up a figure, really constructing things out of cylinders for almost everything. I have over there to the right some of the cylinders I'm using to think of the legs with, then being very careful about one line in front of another. Right, trying to build things up logically. My lines are a little heavy, but I want to show you the construction. So looking at this drawing, I have a lot of foreshortening here, and I was looking at the leg coming towards me here, really like a big cylinder in front of the pelvis. So the pelvis back here, then the cylinder of hip to knee, right? Big cylinder, hip to knee. And then really paying attention to these places where one line is in front of another line. Even back here where the glutes here and the legs a little bit in front of that. And even like here where the tibia goes in front a little bit. Here certainly where the legs in front of the body. Here, all these places I'm looking for that big cylinder shape and a T shape where one form is in front of another. Like right here, you know, jaw in front of the neck. Here again, neck in front of the shoulder, right? Jaw in front of the neck, neck in front of the shoulder. So really one line in front of another line where something changes direction, super important. And a big simple shape, like her rib cage is kind of facing away from me. It's like a big cylinder. Right? kind of going down like this, and I'm looking where the sternum is. But a big cylinder flattened a little bit front to back is a good way of thinking of the rib cage. I can even think of the pelvis like that as well, right? Like big cylinders. Neck is certainly a cylinder, and the head kind of an egg. So when you're drawing and there's foreshortening, which there always is a little bit of, you want to take a second and look closely where something changes direction and really pay attention to what is in front of what. That, along with thinking of the mass like a big simple shape you can draw out of your head, is really the key to foreshortening. All right, so here again we have the same pose from the opposite direction. So the leg is going away from me. So it's basically like a very foreshortened cylinder going away. And then the lower leg is another one coming towards me, right? And then I'm careful about what's in front of what, like the lower leg here in front of the upper leg, that same thing of one line in front of another line. Up here, the chin is behind the trapezius right here, and a little bit of sternomastoid behind that. Over here, rib cage in front of the arm. Over here, same thing, rib cage in front of the other arm. Down in here too, the glutes are in front of the lower leg, the heel in front of the Achilles tendon. Down here again, heel in front of the Achilles tendon. So all these places where one line is in front of another line, and being very clear about the big shapes, right? Her rib cage is essentially like again, a little bit at an angle. It's like a big cylinder that's flattened a little bit. And then the neck is pretty clearly another cylinder, right? The neck goes away a little bit. And then up here, trapezius in front, sternomastoid in front of that, chin in front of that. So this layered up little one line in front of another line.